Hey, Michael. You had asked me about using the TTM squeeze and how I use it, and try to give you a little tidbit here. We'll go with Apple because that's what's really deciding the market right here, right now. So some things I'm looking at right here with the TTM squeeze. I'll have to shift it over a little bit, shift my chart over just a little bit here so you can see the current. So what I do typically. I want to identify the current trend, of course. Obviously, we're in a downtrend here with a gap above us right here. It's not looking too good for Apple. The news has gotten out this week. Another thing that I've noticed in the price action right here, this here is a prior gap. We're currently trading below that prior gap, giving us overhead resistance, suggesting that, because of this chart pattern, we just broke down back below that, closed below it. The primary trend is to the downside for the Apple, which is being confirmed on the shorter length. This is your classic TTM squeeze indicator from TOS. I set it up to a wavelength of 14. The histogram's red, so that is confirming the down bias on the daily time frame. So that's how I initially start my thing. Now I do want to point out the red dots represent the squeeze setup. Okay, we do not have any red dots currently on the daily time frame. Okay, so if we go lower, it's just going to be uh, I would rather have us coming into a squeeze scenario for an overnight setup. Okay, and we don't have that on the daily time frame. So what I do then next is go down into the shorter time frames. Okay, so we had a squeeze setup on your classic, and then there's squeeze pro. This is another one, which if you don't have that one, this has got default settings. Okay, I also use that one. Okay, so we have been in we had a squeeze scenario here on the squeeze pro, and it was also showing a little bit up here on uh, your classic TTM squeeze. Okay, but I do want to point out here we just got through getting another squeeze signal, which is now resolving. Looks like it is resolving lower. Okay, um, we have a earnings gap that has not been even back tested yet. Okay, and this downtrend line, which I got drawn on my chart, looks like before the end of the week we're likely to back test, if not fill, this gap. So that gives me a bias for the overall market that, hey, they really want to be testing at least this trend line here really soon. So that's another thing. I'm putting the technical analysis with my TTM squeeze. Okay. Uh, so basically, we're coming out of this squeeze. Okay, one day out of the squeeze on the daily time frame, my only bias for the overnight session would have been a net short. Okay, and that's what I try to do is on the 1 hour. If I'm looking to see what I'm thinking is going to happen tomorrow, my bias would have been net short Apple for the overnight. Okay, on the 1 hour time frame. That's what I use for the swing trade is the 1 hour. Okay, then I go down to the 20 minute. Now that's for my intraday setups. Okay, and so basically we went into the very close here on my uh, short-term time frame, and also we had a squeeze signal right into the close there. Okay, and so far in the overnight session, that squeeze is not continuing lower. So so be mindful of that here on the shorter time frames. Okay. Uh, so I'm putting all those things together here in my analysis, and so this is our critical uh, channel support, you know, and we're currently in we know a overnight swing short scenario. Okay, and so what I would do at this point, you know, uh, what I would do from this point here is You can always put fibs on the channels that I got drawn here, or you could always also look at your open, high, low, close. Let me show you right here. You come over to here. So let's just say here, go down on a 20-minute time frame here. Um, okay, give me 1 second here. I think that's the wrong study right there. That's market maker move. I want to remove that one off there. So basically what we got going on here, I have to go into daily time frame to show you that. 1 second here. So you got two studies here on Apple. So basically we are breaching the lower edge of this week's expected move on Apple. So, that's whenever you have the potential for a gamma squeeze if you continue lower. So just be mindful of that. The markets themselves are kind of just hanging really not too far away from the uh, last Friday's close. So we're really not hanging that far. It's been pretty much sideways. So my main takeaway right here is I've drawn out a potential target all the way down to 165, which tends to be a major support area for Apple. And if you draw your fibs out, you see how it rejected the 38.2 right there. We are projecting out a potential path to 165 down here to Apple, and we're trying to breach the 61.8. So that's another way of looking at the whole Apple thing. Um, so I just thought I'd share that with you as well. Okay, and if I remove this study, remove study, yeah, yes, got another study on the back there. Uh, the white represents where we opened for the week. Okay, let me go down here on a smaller time frame so you can see it a little bit better. That's a little bit too far. Let me go back down 1 hour. Here we go. Yeah, I got a study on here. It's called the open, high, low, close. Okay. Uh, the white represents Friday's close. Okay. Uh, the green, let me show you right here in the study. If you don't have this study, let me know. Edit study. Yeah, where's it at here? Yeah. Open, high, low, close for the week. Okay. That's what I got on there. Okay. And the green, this is last week's low. And this is last week's close is white. Last week's high is red. And last week's open is orange. So red's the high from last week, green's the low from last week, and white's the close from last week. Okay. So the green represents the low of last week here, and we're right there threatening to break last week's lows, threatening a potential gamma squeeze to finish off our week on our route down to 165. Okay. So that's just the different my full analysis here, uh, and I drew my fibs to where the fibs are potentially lining up, and that gave me the projection down here for 165. Okay, that just gives you a quick and dirty look. You were wanting to know about the uh, uh, these right here, so I put all of it together there for you, and the squeeze. I put it all for and what I'm anticipating to happen here for the whole Apple thing. Uh, but ultimately, our fibs are potentially pointing down to 165. Okay, and that would satisfy that gap fill. It has not since the earnings came out. So we'll see what happens.